What kinds of stones were placed on the breastplate of judgment? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Exodus on Walking Through the Bible.
His word, the glory of his cross.
If you have a Bible with you, turn to Exodus 39. We're going to be reading from verses 8 to 14. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Exodus 39, beginning of verse 8. And he made the breastplate artistically woven like the workmanship of the ephod of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and of fine woven linen. They made the breastplate square by doubling it. A span was its length, and a span its width when doubled. And they set in it 4 rows of stones, a row with sardius, a topaz, and an emerald in the first row. The second row, a turquoise, a sapphire, and a diamond. The third row, a jacinth, an agate, and an amethyst. The fourth row, a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. They were enclosed in settings of gold in their mountings. There were 12 stones according to the names of the sons of Israel, according to their names, engraved like a signet, each one with its own name according to the 12 tribes. In our last episode, we began looking at the garments of the priests again as they were being made. Now, as we've said in previous episodes, even though we've already discussed these garments once before, we're going to review what we learned about them, following the readings of each section. The instructions we read of today were found in chapter 28, lesson 107 of the series. As we discussed earlier on in Exodus, it would be the house of Aaron from the tribe of Levi that were selected to be the priests, with Aaron serving as the first high priest. It would be the duties of the priests to work in the tabernacle and offer the sacrifices of the tabernacle. As priests, God desired that they wear special clothing so as to separate themselves from among the rest of the people. Up until verse 26, we find the garments of the high priest, in this case Aaron, being described. In our last episode, we discussed the ephod, with what fabric it was to be made, how it was to be fastened together, and what was to be placed on it. Today, we continue talking about the ephod, focusing on the breastplate of judgment that was placed upon it. It is called the breastplate of judgment because the Urim and the Thummim would be placed on the breastplate, through which the judgments of God would be revealed to the high priest. A breastplate is worn on the chest, so that is where this item was going to be placed on the ephod. It was made of the same material as the ephod itself, namely fine woven linen of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet thread. It was doubled into a square to be about a span in length, meaning about 22.86 centimeters or 9 inches. There has been plenty of discussion as to why this piece was doubled, some saying it added more strength because we're about to see the 12 stones are going to be placed on it. Others say that what this means is that it formed a pocket for the Urim and the Thummim. So which is it? My response simply is, why can't it be both? Doubling over cloth will certainly give it more strength, and it also appeared to have a pocket, so accepting both explanations would be firmly in line with what Scripture is telling us here. As we said earlier, upon the breastplate was to be placed 12 stones. Now there is much debate as to what these stones actually were, seeing as how the ancients did not possess the tools to engrave on some of these stones like diamond. To that I say the following. First, the ancients may have called these stones something different to what we would call them. For instance, we call those large, now extinct reptiles whose fossils we find all over this globe dinosaurs. However, that is simply a name that we have given them. Other cultures, should they have found these fossils, might have called them something else. So seeing gems like diamond or topaz or sapphire doesn't necessarily mean that that is what we would call them. It is, however, what Israel called them, hence why our translations have translated them this way. However, suppose we are talking about the same gems. Although the ancients, on the whole, may not have been able to engrave on them, we're talking about an infinite, all-powerful God. It is well within his power to give the engravers the ability to engrave on those hard stones if he so desired. So whichever is true, it shouldn't shake our faith in the accuracy of the Bible, even if we don't completely understand. These stones were placed into gold settings, following a specific order outlined by God. On each stone, one of the names of the children of Israel was to be placed. On which stone each name was placed is not specifically given, so it would be useless to speculate. That the high priest wore the names of the 12 tribes of Israel close to his heart might have been to symbolize God's affection for his people. We're going to continue looking at the attire of the high priest and all the intricate details that were required in its construction, the Lord willing, in the next episode. With that, our time is up for today. Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Exodus chapter 39, verses 15 to 21, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.